Moving through the city, we be going.
Yeah.
And Clippers basketball. The only reason why we mentioned Jason was because Jason covered the Bucks game for us last week. But the Clippers basketball, last night looked promising. I know you were there in person, so I'll let you talk more about it because I think that's finally the first time we got to see them with their full team. But at the same time, I tweeted it before the game. I'm like, yeah, this looks good, but they got to finish it. And then the league got back down to like 9 because it was big in the first half. Yeah,
the real
go ahead.
Issue with Portland, which is why I was watching it, I'm like, damn, G, like, it's not going to happen for my dog, Dame. They just really can't guard nobody, bro. It's like, I know why they picked up Norman Powell because Derrick Jones Jr., he's a good defender, but he's not an all-world defender, and he's not a good shooter. So it's like, you can literally just leave
he's
him.
He's a good dunker.
He's an incredible dunker.
He's great at dunking the basketball.
Derrick is a great athlete. He's a great athlete, but being a great athlete doesn't mean you're going to be a great defender.
Yeah,
he's a cool defender. He's cool, but at the same time, like I said, he's not a good enough shooter consistently to offset the fact that he's just a cool defender. Like, he's good. Not saying like you're going to run out there and score 45 on the man every time, but not like he's Ben Simmons. Like, Ben Simmons is so good defensively. He don't really. First of all, Ben Simmons is so good defensively. He also does bring things to the table offensively, but he's so good defensively that like he's gonna basically take somebody out of the game per se.
He's a fair-skinned Draymond.
He's better than Draymond. Okay, no, he's not. No, I'm wilding.
No.
He's not.
No. He is. You're right. You're right though, because Draymond can't give you 20 on any given night if you give him 10 shot attempts. Ben can.
Here is why
Draymond gonna give you one wide open three where he gonna hit it, and then he gonna hit wide right on about 3.
Here is why. Okay, right now he's better than Draymond. Yes, obviously by a wide margin. Prime Draymond, I'm gonna say no because even when I was, we can go back to the Clippers in a second, but even with
turn that random talk on real quick. Sorry.
I mean, no, keep the Clippers.
Okay.
Into it. Like, even when I asked PG, yo, I asked him yesterday, like, yo, what is? I think the exact question I asked was, what does Rondo bring to this team defensively? I feel like, with his IQ and his smarts, he brings a different dynamic. And one thing he mentioned was communication. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, Rondo is talking loud. Like, Rondo was always pointing. He's always talking.
Could you hear him in the arena?
No, because they have like the effects up so high. Yeah. Like they had the fake crowd noise down really, really good now. Like, it's actually incredible. Like, you might actually think it's a crowd there. Like, it gets louder at certain points, it gets quieter at certain points. Like, it's really, really good crowd noise. So you don't actually hear the sounds of the game like you did at first. Mm-hmm. But you can just see him just pointing and always moving. And he said, like, yeah, he's communicating, so like it makes us talk. Like, he's talking, so it makes everybody else talk. So going back to that point, like, I don't think Draymond communicates the same. I could be wrong, but I don't think Draymond communicates the same way Ben Simmons does. And communication is like half a defense. But going back to the Clippers-Blazers game, it was the Clippers look more legit than they have looked in the past. Mm-hmm. Like, especially defensively. Like, my main issue with them this whole time has been guard defense, especially against more athletic guards, because the Clippers are an older, kind of slower team. But with getting, Lou Will away and obviously like Trez being gone this season, one of the issues you had last year was when you went to your bench was even though they, could put up points, they were a terrible defensive lineup. And for the most part, you always had 3 of your worst defenders on the same side of the floor, or you could manufacture 3 of their worst defenders to be on the same side of the court. Like, if I got Lou and Reggie in my backcourt, then I got Trez, like, backing them up. Bro, you got 3 like, G, I'm going to go over here with all 3 of y'all, and I'm going to pick somebody. Yeah. And I'm going to do something to that man. Yeah. Now, okay, Boogie may not be the best defender, but he's still a big body. Like, Boogie is long in person. Like, really? Boogie's arms touch his knees. Really? Okay. Literally, Boogie's arms, so it's like, yo, just do this and be... Literally, just do this and just be active. Like, every now and then you make it a steal, do this and be active. And even Reggie, is helped along now by the fact of Reggie and Luke, they never really play together at this point. Like, they Reggie always... Reggie and
Luke Kennard?
Yeah, they don't ever play together. But he's helped along by the fact you can't really attack him because there's good defenders all around. So there's no real weakness. You can kind of get away with having 1 bad defender, but 2 on the court, that's not going to work, especially in your backcourt. You can get away with 1, which was the Blazers' issue. Like, you got Cantor back there, and, I mean, you got CJ, who's okay, but he's not a great defender. Yeah. Dame, actually, last night, it was so funny. Dame, actually, last night, it was, like, so funny. Dame, granted, he didn't have a great offensive game, but defensively, I thought he played great. For one, like, who was he flaming up? PG was flaming up Norman Powell to start, which is why he scored, what was it, I think 22 points in the first quarter. And they literally switched Dame onto him, and things were just a little bit different. Like, Dame competed on that side of the ball. But, yeah, for the Clippers, like I said, I think that they have a much better constructed team than what they had. But the issue for them is going to be getting actual reps. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they said yesterday they got 20 games until the playoffs. 20 games. So somebody go out there and get hurt, and obviously you're not practicing. So they have to get actual on-court reps.
Same thing with the Nets. Harden is hurt. We'll talk about the Nets.
They got to get actual on-court reps in.
Later.
So, like, yes, I love the way it looks. I think that they I think that they look more like a championship team than probably any other. And this is super high takey off one night of action. And I don't know if Portland played the night before, but just looking at what I see on the court, they look more like a champ. They look the most championship ready that I've seen them covering this team the past 3 years, in my personal opinion.
Okay, I'm not upset at it. I think that they do look the most championship ready. I do agree with that. But I think that the problem and the one issue for them is who's still starting? Pat, right?
Yeah, Pat starts.
That's my only issue with that. I don't really like Rondo off the bench. I would much rather Rondo be on the floor to start the game, bring Pat Bev and Reggie Jackson off the bench.
Ty did say it's flexible, though. He said his rotation.
Yeah, I understand that. But still, that's what I want to see, because then you eliminate the instant mistakes that you get to start the game when you can't get offensive possession after offensive possession, because Patrick Beverley is limited offensively. He shoots very high at a very high clip from three-point line. You can literally Google it. He's been 40-plus a few times in his career, but he's not a volume three-point shooter. And also, he's not a volume shot creator. And I think when they start the game, I want them to come out and punch people in the mouth. I feel like far too many times they get punched in the mouth, and then they have to recover and spend the whole time recovering. I think PG, 22 the other day in the first quarter. That's great, cool, smooth. But then, like, you see what happened the rest of the game. It's 17 points. You kind of slow down after that. He did say that his conditioning has to get better because he's coming back.
Doing a number on that man, but it's all
but still, he did say that his conditioning had to get better. But still, but even with that being said, I want them to come out and pack the first punch, and I still feel like they're right now a counter puncher. In terms of boxing terms, like they not gonna be the one that's gonna throw the knockout blow first. They the one that's gonna get you against the ropes and then try to knock you out with some body shots, and then hopefully you swing and then they counter punch and knock you out. They not coming off rip like Tyson and going in boom, 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 you out. That's what I want to see from them. And I think Pat Bev would be better served on the bench. Pat Bev got paid. It's not like he didn't get paid. He got paid, didn't he? He got paid last year. So it's not so it's not that they're doing anything wrong. Rondo is a championship point guard. He proved that when he was with the Celtics. He proved it last year. I think once he gets into the rhythm of things, I want to see him start. I like Reggie Jackson as a human being, but I've never liked watching him play basketball. All the way back to his days in OKC. He played very, very well against the Blazers. But I'm telling you, he is going to tweak in one or two of these playoff games, and it's going to be a wrap. And that's nothing personal.
I will say this.
It's nothing personal. They just have to stop depending on him as much as they depend on him.
I will say
and the issue is, hold on one second, real quick, I'm finna wrap up and then you can talk. The issue is they expected Luke Kennard to be instant offense off the bench, like a Lou will. That's why Lou's shot attempts dwindled this year, because they were giving half of them to Luke Kennard. That's why Lou went from 16 point something shots last year
10.
to 10 this year, because they were giving those to Luke Kennard, and then Luke was shooting terribly from the field. So in reality, if Luke is going to step up and do what you need him to do, you shouldn't need Reggie Jackson to be out there that much. I want Luke Kennard to be in that spot. So we'll see. That's all I'll say.
But the thing I like, they usually play Reggie with Rondo now. So they usually take Reggie's ability to have to think away. Like they usually, they do, but like no.
I mean, what if I've been calling him for 5 years? Tweak God. That's
just
who he is.
like even last night. Yeah, he didn't have to think too much. Like, yo, when you get the ball, you probably should just shoot it. You probably should just score. Rondo was the one commanding the offense. He's mostly playing off ball. He's not, like beforehand. He was, even when he was starting, he was kind of asked to play make, and he was kind of that guy. He was kind of more so running a point guard. With Rondo there, he's basically the two. He's a guard, but he's basically the two. So it's like he doesn't, and at the two guard spot, I feel like you don't have to think as much. Especially so for score first players, not calling him a score first player, but I personally think the best thing he does is score. I don't think he's a.
I think the best thing he does is.
Score. He scores. Reggie is a scoring guard.
I'll say this: the best thing that Reggie Jackson does is create momentum.
Score.
No, that's to you. It's a score. To me, it's create momentum. Whether it's good momentum or bad momentum, it's gonna be some momentum out there. And if it's good, then you have a great night, you win. If it's bad, you OKC and those few mistakes that he made versus the Warriors or whoever else, they come back to bite you in your ass. And that's the difference between a great, bench player like a Leandro Barbosa versus a great bench player like a Reggie Jackson. Or even a Lou Will, because Lou Will is prone to make mistakes or get picked on. Leandro Barbosa was never a guy that when he came in the game, he made a bunch of mistakes, so you had to worry about it. It was instant offense, and he could defend. He was fast. He was long enough to stay in front of his defender. That's going to be the issue for them because they still can't guard point guards. And just because they had a good night against Dame, who went 2 of 14, I believe it was.
CJ and Norman Powell's whooping their ass.
Yeah, no. But listen. By the way, Norman Powell, damn. I didn't know you had this in you, big fella. I'm not even gonna lie. So it's about to be crazy.
Portland is that like
they don't? Well, this is the thing: is if Nurk comes back,
it's
a wrap with or without Nurk. Okay,
like if Whiteside was there, if Whiteside listen, if Whiteside was they have no shot blocker. They don't have one.
Yeah.
Literally, PG went crazy because it was Norman Powell and Cannon was getting their ass whooped.
Yeah.
He would come off a screen, Norman behind him, Cannon in front.
Food.
22 points.
Barbecue
immediately.
chicken.
So it's like Portland just has an issue where it's like they really just can't. They can.
The Clippers don't defend either, though. That's the other issue.
They're top 10 in defense now.
Top
10 defense now.
Yeah. No, wait a minute. What's that going to get them? Because I watched them play against the Nuggets, and the Nuggets.
Okay, let's think about.
By the way, wait a minute. If the Nuggets play the Clippers, they're going to beat them in 5.
The Nuggets might beat anybody in 5. To keep it all the way funky.
I'm not joking. They're going to beat. If they play the Clippers, they're going to beat them in 5.
The Nuggets might beat anybody.
I don't know what it is. Before they got Aaron Gordon, they had the Clippers number. Now that they got Aaron Gordon, and he was out there every time Kawhi wanted to shoot, he jumping 30 feet in the air. On a contest, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. That's also why I'm glad they got rid of Gary Harris, because he was like the Celtics have always had one guy too many, and not the right guy to be in that spot. Gary Harris was that one guy too many, and not the right guy to be in that right spot. And I believe it's Will Barton starts now, right?
I think Will Barton was always starting.
Well, yeah, but
because Gary was always hurt.
Yes, but this is the thing. Gary was always hurt, but Gary was the guy that they were kind of looking towards to be the combo guard with Jamal. So when Gary's always hurt and they looking for that, then it's inconsistency. Now that Gary's gone, it's just Will's spot. And then whoever does whatever afterwards. You get longer, you get more athletic with Aaron Gordon. He don't really have nothing to prove. The only thing he got to prove is that he's not a bum. Because he was good. I thought he could be KG light. And he never went past Nick Batum with athleticism. So the Clippers.
You thought he was gonna be Kevin Garnett?
No, I said KG light.
Oh,
I literally said KG light.
That.
I thought he could at least give you. I thought he could at least at his best give you 20, 10, and like 3 assists.
I saw like Blake light.
No, KG light because when he wants to strap up and be a good defender, he can. But the issue is. But also, this is the thing about Aaron Gordon. Let's just say the Nuggets randomly go on a championship run and Aaron Gordon is the second and third best player on this team. He kind of really revitalized his career because at this point in time in his career, he's not a guy you're looking for to be a third option or a second option. He's really like a fourth, fifth player role, but he's been on a bad team his entire career. Do you feel me?
No, I feel you.
So when I'm looking at the Clippers, I'm like, who do you have offensively, night in and night out, that you know that's going to be able to give you 20? And I've always said with the Warriors that you needed 3 guys to give you 20 to beat the Warriors, right? This generation of the NBA, the Warriors don't exist. So the closest you're going to get is the Nets. But if you honestly, they play such terrible defense, you're going to score. Can you stop them for 10 possessions a game and win those 10 possessions? With the Clippers, it's gonna be a very small margin of error for them. And last year versus the Nuggets took that margin of error and they motherfucking punched it open and it was huge.
Again.
So this year, the Nuggets have retooled, the Clippers have retooled. The margin for error is still small. I don't know if the Clippers have those guys where night in and night out they have 3 guys that can give them 20 in a game.
I don't even give them 20. My thing with the Clippers is still defense. Like, yeah, like you said, it was great last night. They put so much effort and focus on. But I promise you, if the Blazers could guard anybody, it would have looked a lot different. Because Norman Powell was whooping ass. CJ, whooping ass. If they could guard anyone, it would have looked much different. So my thing with the Clippers is still, can they guard guards? Yes, they have moved their efficiency to, I think they're a top 10 defense right now. I think they may be 5th since the break. I can't remember who all they've played. I don't know how many high quality matchups they've had during this stretch. Also, it's been like a really weird stretch of games. Obviously every team is dealing with it, so you can't make excuses, but it'd be like 20 games in 40 days. I think the Spurs, somebody tweeted us yesterday, the Spurs played like 50 games in 80 days.
And say it. What is it?
Nasty basketball.
Yes. But by the way, we got to add that to the sound. But we got to add the original way you said, that is nasty basketball.
Nasty basketball.
No. When you said it, you meant it with your host. You said, that is nasty basketball activity. That is nasty basketball.
But so it's a weird kind of combination. Yeah. But my thing with them is still, can they guard? Can they guard guards and can they guard athleticism? Which is what Aaron Gordon brings to the Nuggets. A whole different level of athleticism. That was the issue. And again, Kawhi is not the most athletic. He can be frustrated offensively. Mm-hmm. He's not going to jump over you and shoot those fadeaways. Yeah. If you can contest them and get in his airspace, he makes them tough. So, yes, I agree with you about the Clippers want to stay away from the Nuggets. But I think everybody should want to stay away from it. Have you seen these people? Have you seen them men?
Have you seen these people?
Have you seen them men recently?
What do you mean by these people?
Have you seen them men recently? Thank you. No, for real, have you actually seen the Nuggets recently?
I saw them in person, and they and literally they were systematically picking the Clippers apart. But the only thing that I could say was none of the new guys play. And that was the best decision Ty Lue made ever, was to not try to rush anybody to play during that game. Even though I think PG came back and played that game because it was like, oh, PG's back. They still
also
lost.
With PG's toe, it's like, if you know, PG has a bone in them. So it's like an injury that don't nothing really heal it besides rest.
Yeah.
So it's like some days, like he said, like, yo, I feel like my foot has popped today. Some days the foot just hurt. So it's like you don't really know what you get. Pat, it seems like I know Pat, even during the press conference, I was talking, shout out Justin Russo, he also covers the Clippers. I was trying to figure out what's wrong with Pat's knee. But we had that microfracture surgery about 3 years ago. So I guess microfracture surgeries only fix so much and only fix so much for so long. So for him, I guess his maintenance, and he even said he has to stop working so hard and kind of take a rest and take a step back. Rondo is also a guy who, all season Rondo really hasn't been there. I think Rondo would be good. I think Rondo would be straight for the playoff run. But Rondo's 35 years old. You don't know. Rondo also broke his hand twice last year or something like that.
Is it enough though?
What?
For them to make it out the West. You're talking about no one wants to see the Nuggets. Is it they have enough pieces?
Yeah, I think they have everything they need to get it done. I think if I had to put my money on it right now, I think the 3 best teams are the Jazz, the Nuggets, and the Clippers in the West. Personally, the only reason I'm not saying the Lakers is because I don't believe the Lakers being healthy is a feasible concept at this point in time. But I think the Clippers have everything they need. And like I said, obviously, they play the Suns on Thursday, but the Suns are coming off a back-to-back. I don't know if they're at home or if they're at Utah, so I don't know how much I'll learn.
No excuses.
I feel you, but at the same time, it's a very weird schedule. So it's I don't know about how much I'll learn from that, but I do want to see them play that team. I do want to see them, you did that to smaller guards and Dame, CJ, and basically Norman Powell, who's about the same size as CJ. Yeah, you somewhat sort of contained them.
They didn't. They both went crazy.
Yeah, but they contained Dame, which is like the head of the snake. Can you do that same thing to Devin Booker and Chris Paul, to that backcourt? Can you render Chris Paul and Devin Booker ineffective? Can you do that same thing? So I want to see. We will learn more as time goes on. But yes, I think that when I just look at them on paper, and when I again look at them on paper with my two eyes that I've seen, like I said, first game at all of them together. Teams ain't even really got tape on you like that, and I don't even know how much teams even watch film because you playing every day. So who knows? But when I look, I think they finally have championship ingredients, and also I just think Rondo brings something extra to this team that they didn't have last year. Certain things that happened last year ain't gonna happen with Rondo.
No, not at all.
Ain't gonna be no mental health issues with Rondo or Boogie. You think that's happening?
No.
He'll drag the therapist his damn self.
Yeah.
He'll be the therapist.
Yeah.
But you better get therapy and watch this film. Bring the therapist to the goddamn film session. That ain't gonna be no issues with Rondo and Boogie here. That ain't gonna happen.
Fresh like I just got a max. Roller desk, we ballin' to the max. Fresh like I